Where have I been? What have I been up to? Well, I'm going to try and answer that question for you right now. Well, the TLDR version of it is, I simply wasn't having much fun making terrain, so I started a general wargaming channel. I will of course put a link in the description if you're interested in checking it out. Basically, this is the wargaming channel. It's called Always Strikes Back. I literally made it about like a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually probably more like a month ago now, as you can see. Whereas you can see on Terrain Made Easy, I haven't actually made anything in about 11 months, nearly a year. So what happened? Well, the answer is a little bit different from the usual kind of burnout that I think YouTubers experience. Let's think about the terrain channel for a moment, right? What were my like core points? Well, I wanted to help people, sure, and the way that I did that was I was trying to make terrain that fit a few categories: quick, easy, cheap. Any combination of those and I was happy, right? Now I ask you a question. Do any of those three categories sound like somebody who really enjoys making terrain and the hobby as a whole? I don't think so. If you're trying to make something cheap, then maybe you enjoy it but you just don't have the funds. That's fair enough, I understand that one. If you're trying to make it quick, then maybe you just don't have the time, but maybe you have the time and you actually just don't want to spend the time because you don't enjoy it. And if it's easy, maybe you're somebody who's not capable of like intricate work, right? Which is fair enough. I've no qualms. Not everybody is hand-eye coordinated gifted, I guess. And I tried to cater to all three of those. But personally, I was never really a fan of actually creating the terrain. I didn't want to sit there and spend hours creating something really amazing. That just wasn't the vibe that I was ever going for. And honestly, I sort of knew that several months into the channel, but people were responding well to the channel. Like I got quite a lot of subscribers and I'm still getting quite a lot of subscribers and views, even though I've not made a video in 11 months. So people were responding to it quite well, but I wasn't necessarily enjoying it. Now, what I was enjoying was all of the positive reception, right? I really enjoyed the way people responded to it because I think it's sort of human nature to some extent to enjoy helping others. I think if you don't enjoy helping others, you might be a bit weird, but you know, that is what it is. And I definitely fit into that camp though. I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, I enjoyed helping others. How great am I? The reason I enjoyed helping others is because it made me feel good. It's not some sort of like selfless act. I felt good doing it. But I think I basically just had to be a bit more real with myself and realize I'm actually not that interested in making terrain. I'm not really a hobbyist. I am a gamer. I like computer games and I like war games. I like playing the games. I'm not like a massive strategy tactical head. I'm not like one of those guys who's like, oh well, this is a meta unit and I'm only going to take this because it's 5 points cheaper than this and it's way better value. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm more of like a beer and pretzels dad kind of gamer at this point. I just want to play games and relax. So what I actually did when I stopped this channel is I was playing a video game and made a little YouTube channel about that. I just do that because I enjoy that, right? I'm not expecting that to take off and be like, oh, I am a sensational YouTuber. That's not really the goal. Now, it would have been a little bit weird if Terrain Made Easy actually came a point where it was my job because I was making money from it, like serious amount of money from it. I probably would still be doing it. And that's probably not healthy in a way because the frequency that I was doing videos, I wasn't enjoying. Now, there is some terrain building elements that I do enjoy beyond just helping people, but just as a more like generic statement, I enjoy wargaming more than I enjoy the hobby. I don't enjoy painting models and I never really fully enjoyed making terrain. Just sometimes I did, sometimes it was enjoyable, but a lot of the times it wasn't. It was like a lot of stress. Now some of that was probably the fact I was filming it and all that kind of stuff, but that's the ultimate answer, right? Now one thing I do want to point out because it's important, I was pausing the billing on Patreon. I messaged all the Patreons a couple months back and I said I'm gonna have to stop that because basically if I ever forgot you were going to get charged. So I said, look, just Patreon me if that's a thing because I'm not going to be able to pause it anymore. But I actually did once try to just remove the Patreon or like unlist it essentially, but it removed all the PDFs that I'd made. So I'm just leaving it on and that's why. I feel a little bit bad about it, but I just couldn't be bothered like going on every single month making sure, oh, have I remembered this month? It was just becoming a bit of a stress for me, so I didn't want to deal with it. So I played some video games and then I just realized that, you know what I'm actually looking forward to when it came to wargaming? I'm really looking forward to the old world. So while this channel is just going to be mainly talking about like Games Workshop stuff right now, eventually I'll probably be talking about the old world quite a bit as well. So it's going to be that kind of topic, wargaming and the old world. And if you're interested in that, go ahead and subscribe. The channel's being well received so far. I'm doing some sort of like, not clickbaity content, but a little bit like over the top, like, hey, is Horus Heresy going to be dead in 6 months? A bit dramatic, do you know what I mean? But I'm sharing my actual opinions on wargaming, and if that's something you want to see, go ahead and check it out. But I think just in general, when it came to YouTube, I sort of lost track track of what I was doing it for. I think at some point with Terrain, I was doing it because the subscribers and the views were going up rather than because I actually wanted to do it. And I don't necessarily think there's any harm in that, because if you become a job, then you're likely going to lose some of your like enjoyment out of it anyway. But yeah, it just wasn't what I wanted. I wasn't being true to myself, I think. Now, weirdly, I might come back to Terrain at some point if the mood takes me, because on that new channel, I may actually put the odd bit of Terrain, but it's going to go on the new channel. I could only see me putting Terrain on this channel if a lot of circumstances change. I'm not ruling it out. It might happen in the long distant future, but I can't see that being reasonable in the 6 to 12 month range. However, there is the odd bit of Terrain that I'm going to want for my wargaming, and with that you can probably find it on the Always Strikes Back channel. Yes, I'm sorry I've had too many YouTube channels, I know that, but I've made quite a lot of mistakes in my YouTube journey when it comes to, well, when it comes to YouTube full stop, and specifically wargaming. Like the Star Wars Legion channel, I actually still play Star Wars Legion. I'm still excited about that game, but to a big extent, Star Wars Legion was unlikely to ever become full-time, and then I thought, well, why make the YouTube channel when I can just play it as a hobby? So I sort of scrapped that channel basically. Then we started doing the Terrain channel, and I think that was probably the best concept channel. The only thing it was missing was a passion for me for creating the terrain. Instead, I had a passion for trying to help people and make things easier for people, cheaper for people, quicker for people, but it just was a little bit unhealthy for me, if that makes sense. So now I'm having a wargaming channel where I'm just going to sit and talk at a camera with some footage over the top, and you know what, I'm having fun doing it because they're just subjects I want to talk about. They remind me a little bit of my live streams. So yeah, if you want to check it, go check it out. I've rambled on for way longer than I anticipated, but just in the interest of being as honest with you as possible. I hope you're all doing really, really well, and I thank you for your support over the years. It actually has been incredible, and I do really appreciate that. It's a bye for now, maybe not a bye forever. Thank you so much for your views, your subscriptions, your Patreons, and all that kind of good stuff. I do honestly, truly appreciate it. I hope you have a most beautiful day. Don't bother liking this video. It doesn't matter to me. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe to my new channel. Thank you. Goodbye.